Welcome back, and I apologize to all the die-hard Just Printer fans that there wasn't a video last week, but just couldn't get everything done. But we got one for this week. Thanks for all the ideas on what could be making this problem. It just happened again, and I think the idea that I like the best is the drive belt on the back here could be slipping, because the manual does say there's something wrong with the timing. And I'm also wondering if there's individual clutches for each one of these trays. So let's take the back cover off here and see what's in there. What do we got, 3? Oh yeah. I feel like everything's 3 millimeters on all kinds of equipment. Okay, this is going to be tricky to work back here. I don't feel like moving the machine. But yes, so there are individual clutches for each tray and one belt that's going to be driving everything. There is some dirt on those. I'm trying to figure out where you would tighten the belt, but I think I'm just going to blow out all the clutches first, see if that just cleans it up enough. And other than that, that belt needs to be cleaned a little bit as well. Maybe between the two of those things, this thing will be fixed. There was certainly a lot of dust in there, and just an FYI, it looks like the drive pulley's down here. I don't know if one of these is spring-loaded. That does seem a little loose. Let's see if that helps. That could be fixed. We'll see if it happens. I got like another 400 to run. I'm going to consider that fixed. I ran the rest of those, didn't happen once. And before I blew out the back of that, it happened a few times. So I'm sure it was those clutches, which makes sense because a dirty clutch on a digital press, like one of the Konicas, has the same effect. There's just not enough friction to drive that roller. So thank you very much for the individual who pointed me that direction. So since I have the air hooked up, I'm just going to open this up and blow out a couple of the sensors that I know of. Okay, getting ready to print 2,000 5.5 by 8.5 books. I have a little bit of dirt. So I'm just going to clean off the cleaning blade a little bit. It's not that old. The drum is relatively new too on here. And maybe clean out the lower transfer belt there too. And then get this running. And then I want to talk about business ethics a little bit in 2 different situations that I can think of. One just recently, and you know, what would you do? It's a lot of fun to think about, like this type of stuff. You can already see there's just a lot more excess toner on this side. That's the side that it is happening on. You can see here too on the blade, it's like toner on this side. There's just more dust, and I don't know if maybe it's a charge issue why this is happening, but typically if I clean this out, it'll be better. And if cleaning it doesn't help, I'll replace the cleaning blade and that should be fine. I should also mention, to help this out, what you can do is when you send your file to the 1200, lower the density or changing the screen. So basically it lays less toner down, so it needs to clean less toner with the cleaning blade, and then you'll get more out of it. So that seems to help out. So these longer runs, I break down into smaller increments so that the press can kind of calibrate in between and I can double check. So I printed these on Thursday and this is going to be Fridays. We're going to start out with 25, 4 up, but we got quite a bit to go. Oh yeah, that looks so much better. Yep, perfect. However, to be completely honest though, I feel like that's only going to be a temporary fix and it's only a matter of time till that starts happening again. But hey, we'll see. Now we gotta laminate the covers. I was right. The dirt came back just a little bit. You can hardly see it, but it's still there. It's no big deal because this gets trimmed off. But what I'm going to do is rotate the blade, the cleaning blade, and you can see in here, right in here, if this finger is down, I wrote on here, it's new, so there's a new blade that can be rotated out, and you do that in the service menu. So if you go to process, drum, and then blade replace mode. So it switches the first blade with the second blade. There's 2 cleaning blades in there. And so you hit start. Will blade replace? Yes. So then it's going to do the old switcheroo. And it's going to condition it. It's going to put toner on there to lubricate the new blade. Just take a second. And once that's completed, if you open it up here, you're going to see that tab is now in the up position. So it's on the second blade, and we should be good to go. I mean, now that, although I'm in here, so let's just do the drum potential and the density adjustment. So business ethics is kind of an interesting thing, I think. It comes up a lot in running a business. I mean, the way you treat your co-workers, your employees, your customers, it's the way you treat people. So a short story here. Earlier this week, a customer contacted me and wanted a quote to print 100 books, and they had a budget of $10 per book. When I got done figuring out what the quote was, the cost to them, what I normally charge, would be about $3.60 a book. So what do you do? What do you do when a customer says, I'm willing to pay no more than $10, but you would charge them $3.60 a book? If you're greedy, you might add a little bit on. You might split the difference. You might go up towards saying it's $8 a book. And well, I don't recommend that, because I believe what goes around comes around. And if you're greedy, you might just have that one job with the customer. But I believe honesty is the best policy. So naturally, I gave them a quote of $3.60 a book, and they said, hey, that's a great price. And you know what? They're going to remember that. So when they need printing in the future, they're going to know who to come to. And typically, another thing, when this happens to me, what I do is I look online to see what other printers are charging for the same type of project. And I already do know that for saddle stitched booklets, my prices are really competitive. What can I say? I like to make booklets. And there actually were other printers online selling the same project for about $10 a book. So I could really get away with charging a lot more. However, I did calculate that I am making enough profit at $3.60 a book, so that's where I kept it. So when that does happen, I do suggest to make sure you didn't make a mistake. But if you are sure your pricing is fair, then stick by it, and make your customers super happy that you're coming in at a third of the price that they thought they were going to get charged. And this is spotless, so that's perfect. I don't know. You think there's enough film there for 1,000 sheets? I still haven't made my contraption. I guarantee you, if I could have some sort of a switch, like riding against here, so if you run out of film, it would flip up and then open the circuit. I could just, there's a sensor in here and a sensor back here. I could easily put it in line with that and it would stop the machine. Maybe someday when I get bored. So let me give you an example of a time where I think it's okay to take the profits. So let's say you put your neck out at an auction and buy, you know, several tons of paper at half price. Are you going to sell it to the customer at that half price, or are you going to sell it at the regular price? In an instance like that, I think you should not feel bad at all by selling it at full price, because the only reason that you got it at half price is because you're a good business person and you should be rewarded for that. If you want, and I've done this before too, is just split the difference. So if the paper is typically $10 and you buy it for $5, sell it to the customer for $7.50. That way you benefit both. So it's equally shared between the two of you. But again, I don't think you should feel bad selling it at full price, because you are going to have to warehouse that and other things. So just because you got a deal doesn't mean you have to pass it on to your customer. Or for example, if you have a digital press and you're paying 5 cents a click, and then you start servicing it yourself and your click costs are down at closer to a penny, are you going to sell your click to the customer at that penny price or the 5 cent? And I would recommend not lowering your costs, and you keep it at that 5 cent, and only lowering it if it's a big run, or if it's a customer that you want to, give a gift to, basically. By then lowering your cost and kind of sharing the benefits of your good decision making between the two of you. That's just what I've done in the past. Another ethics question is, what do you do when there's a mistake? What do you do when it's your mistake? And I generally have one rule of thumb, and there's multiple solutions, but in the end, the customer has to be happy. So for some situations and some customers, the product is still usable, and they're willing to use it, so I just give it to them for free. I'm not going to reprint it. You can have it for free. Are you okay with that? If they are, great. If it's a mistake that it needs to be fixed, then obviously it's going to be reprinted on my dollar and at no additional charges. If it's usable and it's a big job, sometimes I'll discount the job. So there's multiple ways to solve a problem like that, by either reprinting, giving it away, or giving it a discount. But in the end, customer has to be happy with it, so whatever makes them happy. And that brings up a good point, because it's the reason that I like to do proofs, printed proof of just about anything I print, and that's because customer is going to see it, and that is when mistakes get caught. So if customer approves the proof, I print the product, and at the end, the mistake was approved in the proof, it's not going to be on me. Now sometimes I will give a discount on reprinting the job if necessary, but if the customer approved it, my hands are clean. And I should clarify, if the customer approved it and it was their fault, my hands are clean. If I can sum all this up into one statement, it's real simple. Treat other people the way you want to be treated, and it'll all be okay. The world will be a better place. So it's July 4th weekend. If you're celebrating this weekend, get out there and grill, have a good time with friends and family. I know I will be. We'll see you next week. Thanks for watching.